Hi guys, before the video starts, I'm just gonna make a quick little shout out to myself. I started a new channel for ASMR because I've always wanted to be an ASMR artist. So if you guys like ASMR and want to support your girl in her new endeavors, I put the link in the description and also probably somewhere in the comments for you guys to check out. I would really highly appreciate your support over there as well. So yes, enjoy the video. Hey guys, what's up? It is me, Sumi, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming at you guys with a very highly anticipated video, especially by those of you guys that have followed me for a few years now. You would know that I didn't always look like this.
Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
Before all of that, I know you guys are probably looking at me and be like, Sumi, you're looking very fashionable today with your new jewelry. And I know I'm extremely fashionable today. So without further ado, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Analuisany Jewelry. Analuisany has got to be one of my favorite jewelry brands by far for a number of reasons. A, because their jewelry is just so cute. Earrings, necklaces, anklets, rings, bracelets that are just so cute, and literally there's a piece for everyone. B, Analuisany is actually 100% carbon neutral, and they ethically source all of their raw materials like recycled gold. That's just so awesome knowing that this company has their mission statement deeply rooted in like the well-being of our whole earth. Like, are you kidding? Why wouldn't you support that? And finally, because this company is extremely affordable and their pieces are starting at $39, they eliminate the luxury markup that you see on other price tags and still keep the high quality of fine jewelry. There's no reason not to love Analuisany. On top of all that, I'm so excited to announce that they have a huge holiday sale going on at the moment where just buy one, get one 40% off, and you get a free travel case on orders over $150. If that's not enough incentive to go check out Analuisany Jewelry, I don't know what is. These are the pieces that I chose for my holiday buy one get one. These earrings are so cute. The fact that they are asymmetrical is like, I never would have thought that that would look cute before. And this necklace too, like, are you kidding me? As soon as I saw this on the website, I knew that it would look really good in like kind of like a soft glam outfit or like makeup job, just like I'm wearing right now. And then I also have this anklet, which I showed you guys earlier. I'm also sporting this very cute anklet as well that you can find on the Analuisany website, again in the description box down below. They're having a huge holiday sale and I would love for you guys to go support them. Their mission is so amazing. So thank you, Analuisany. Okay, time for the meat and potatoes of this video, the reason why all y'all clicked on the thumbnail as I am chewing boba. I have to make a couple disclaimers because I'm going to be talking about a lot of potentially sensitive issues, especially for young women like myself. My adolescence growing up with different EDs and body dysmorphias and just relationships with food and stuff. So if you're sensitive to any of those things, please, this is my trigger warning to you guys. Click off this video if you feel like it could impact you in a negative way. Also, my second disclaimer is that I am not making a diet advice video. This is not what this is. This is more like a story time of me explaining my life to you, the journey I've been through as far as my relationship with food, my body, etc., and how I actually came to a place where I am happy with the way I look. I don't believe that I did anything right in this journey. I'm just gonna take you along the path that I've walked, a story time of my journey in my relationship with myself. So that being said, I feel like this is just gonna be a video of me blabbing at you guys for like 15 minutes. So grab a snack, you know, strap in. It's gonna be a rough ride. In order to understand my entire journey, you need to understand where it all started, and that will take me back to probably 5th grade when I was 11 years old. I was a competitive gymnast for the majority of my childhood, all the way up to 15 or 16. When I was in the 5th grade, I moved to a gym. Upon being one of their competitive optional gymnasts, they weighed us. Weight and body mass is very, very important and can affect you as an athlete and your performance. But as a child being put on a scale when I was 11 years old, it didn't have the best effects on my psyche for obvious reasons. But I remember the older girls around me, the older gymnasts, they were all in high school. They were so particular about their diets and eating in front of their coaches, and you know, every little 0.2 of a pound that would fluctuate from one day to the next, like that would affect them so badly because we would be forced to write down our weight every night. And I would say, unfortunately, yeah, this probably affected all of us in a very negative way, where we just scrutinized our body to the very smallest fraction of a pound. And so that's kind of where it all started. I always loved the sport of gymnastics, and I was very competitive, so of course I wanted to succeed and I wanted to be the best athlete that I could and perform well at competitions. So in my eyes, because weight was such a big thing for our coaches and for that team, I was always putting myself through insane diet restrictions. And a lot of it was enforced by my parents at home. And again, I'm not trying to blame my parents either. They were literally just trying to help me be a good gymnast and succeed in the sport. They would regulate my meals and my dinners. So that was when I started forming this really unhealthy relationship with food through dietary restriction. After my workouts, I'd come home from gymnastics practice around like 8 p.m. I'd have the option of eating like one serving of yogurt, a scoop of cottage cheese, or a can of green beans. And those were like my typical dinners. But me being a child and having cravings like a normal child does, I wanted to eat more, obviously. And because my parents were the ones regulating my food at home, I resorted to sneaking food a lot. I remember, God, this is so bad. I would go behind their backs in the middle of the night, sneak into the kitchen, grab handfuls, just whatever I could grab, granola bars, raisins, candy. We didn't really have candy in the house, but literally just whatever. I would grab a spoon, scoop jam and peanut butter into my mouth just because just to satiate the sugar cravings I was having. It just turned into this bad habit and this really unhealthy relationship with food. And me obviously sneaking a whole bunch of junk food behind my parents' back, like I gained weight as a child, and I gained weight pretty rapidly from middle school to high school because of how much I just went out of my way to eat a little bit more and satiate my cravings. Just eating at every opportunity, eating as much as possible at any opportunity, because I didn't know when I'd be able to literally get my next fix because of my strict diets at home. Oh God, this is so hard for me to explain and articulate, but I developed the eating disorder, binge eating, solely out of the habit of sneaking food and trying to get as much in my body as possible, because I didn't know when I would have the opportunity next because of dieting and all that other stuff. Needless to be said, all of this stuff really did impact me as a gymnast, because you know, you gotta get into a little tight little leotard. Everyone can see your body as a gymnast, and that's not a secret. So everything I put into my body, my coaches, my friends, my parents would all see as soon as I put on a leotard. And so that just really was the root of my low self-esteem. And like I said, it just snowballed into high school. High school, it got really, really bad. I was at the point where I was so heavy, I couldn't do gymnastics without injuring myself every day. Like, it wasn't a matter of how I looked in normal clothes. Like, you have to understand, I was a competitive athlete at that time, and so any little bit of extra weight that I carry on my body makes the sport that I'm doing even more dangerous, because it's high impact. If I roll my ankle, like, the weight coming down on it would injure me more, or like, you have to understand, I did not live a normal childhood where I was like running around with my friends after school. Like, I did gymnastics for 24 hours a week, 6 days a week, 4 hours a night, every day after school and on Saturdays. Like, that was my whole life. It became like my whole life to be, you know, in gymnastics, to be dieting, to be sneaking food and dealing with this eating disorder. And then all the while I'm developing this extreme self-hatred because my parents were extremely frustrated with me, because obviously they know I'm sneaking food behind their backs. Like, they've caught me before, and they're just frustrated with me at this point because at the point of no return, which was like freshman, sophomore year of high school, I had already gotten to the point where I was too heavy to be a stellar gymnast, and I was too far off the edge in this eating disorder where I couldn't function like a normal child should with a healthy relationship with food. So yeah, at this point, and I'm talking about freshman, sophomore year of high school, I had a bad relationship with gymnastics, a bad relationship with my body, and a bad relationship with my parents because of my eating disorder. Anyways, and then just constantly being told that you're not thin enough, or by my coaches, if you lose 5 pounds, then you're gonna be able to get this trick that you've been working on for 4 months, and you'd finally, and your wrist would stop hurting, and you wouldn't screw up your back as hard. Like, being fed all those words about my body and eating and not eating, it all just kind of really screwed up my head. And actually, I have to admit, growing up, I was a very angry child, and I had a lot of issues regulating my attitude and my just negative feelings. So it eventually got to the point where I was so frustrated with gymnastics and my body and the pressure of dieting and all this shit that when I was ending my sophomore year of high school, I decided to just throw in the rag and say, screw it, I'm done with gymnastics. I'm done with gymnastics. I'm done with this dieting shit. I'm done with people telling me what's right and wrong about my body and picking apart every little lump and everything I had. And mind you, I was going through puberty at this time, so like, everything that was being told to me about my body was just amplified in my brain because of all these hormones. So it was all just like amplified, you know, and just very hurtful. And I didn't know how to process it. But there is a key point of the story that I have to explain in order to kind of lead into this next portion. When I was beginning high school, I had some blood work done. And it turns out that I actually had this endocrine disorder called hypothyroidism. And so long story short, I wasn't producing the right hormones for metabolism and digestion regulation. So upon receiving that diagnosis, I was so relieved because I was like, wow, for once I can stop blaming myself, because I actually have this actual disorder that slows my metabolism and makes me heavier than I'm supposed to be. So for a couple years, I was using that as my scapegoat to kind of blame my inexplainable weight gain. But in reality, it was probably a combination of that disorder and the binge eating disorder that I developed that just led me to become very, very unhealthy. So I don't want to talk exact numbers in this video because I feel like weight is just very negligible. Like, it doesn't freaking matter how heavy you are. What more matters is your body composition, how much muscle, bone mass, fat you have, and like how that all kind of balances out. So I'm not gonna say how heavy I got, even though when I was a kid growing up, I focused a lot on the numbers on the scale. That did really screw me up and set bad habits in me at the time. That's not the message I'm trying to project onto you guys as my audience. So only in the title of this video where I say, yes, I lost 60 pounds, that's all I'm gonna say about pounds and weight. I'm not gonna tell you my weight back then. I'm not gonna tell you about what I weigh right now, because frankly, it's nobody's business how much I weigh. And also, like I said, it doesn't really matter. Put it in the title because I wanted to explain, I wanted to use it as a quantifying representation. I have to mention my hypothyroidism problem because following that diagnosis, I was medicated for hypothyroidism for the 4 years of high school that I was in. And mind you, in the middle of high school, I quit gymnastics. However, because of my eating disorder that I developed as a gymnast, I continued to gain weight all the way up until senior year of high school, and that was when I peaked. That was when I was the most unhealthy, and that was when I felt the most unhappy with myself and the most disappointed because, you know, yes, I didn't have to squeeze into a leotard anymore, but I still just let this eating disorder run its course, and I couldn't get a handle on it. No matter how much that I tried to correct myself, put myself through new diets, I'd continued to gain weight all the way up until I was 18 years old. Here's where it kind of changes. I was the biggest I had ever been when I graduated high school in the summer of 2016. And at this time, I was a YouTuber at this point, so you could obviously probably go back to videos during this time. In the fall of 2016, I went to college for the first time, and this was very largely scary for me, but also very exciting because for the first time, I was out of the house. In my brain, I didn't have to live under the scrutiny of my parents, especially regarding food, and you know, I could eat whatever I wanted because I would be in my own dorm and all this stuff. So for me, it was kind of like, let the reins go. I'm in college now, baby. Like, this is my life to live, and I'm gonna be whatever the hell I wanna be, and I'm gonna do whatever the hell I wanna be. So that's usually what 18-year-olds think when they go out to college, right? There was still the issue of being medicated for hypothyroidism. Obviously, this doesn't pertain to every condition out there because hypothyroidism, I feel like this is just my opinion being a patient myself. It's not too serious of a condition. Like, it's not really life-threatening if you get a handle on it. For me, hypothyroidism was whatever. Like, yeah, my body wasn't making these hormones, but I had a bigger problem with medicating for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I don't know. This is just my own thing. This is not my advice to you guys. I was innately uncomfortable with the idea of being medicated for the rest of my life on this Synthroid. Again, this might have not been a smart move. This was just me being, I don't know. Since my condition is not life-threatening and I could kind of battle it in other ways, like with my food intake and exercise, there's other ways to kind of speed up your metabolism. I thought, hey, why not give it a shot and try other methods to fix my condition and fix my metabolism other than just medicating. So it was right when I was going into my freshman year of college that I decided to go vegan. I went 100% vegan for a whole year, and to this day, I'm still so proud of myself for actually like never cheating. I never once cheated. Losing weight had been my goal from ages 11 all the way to 18. And from this point on, it's not about what my body looks like. It's not about what the numbers on the scale. I'm changing up my diet because I want to try to help this condition that I have, hypothyroidism. I did a lot of research, and one of the theories as to what helps your hypothyroidism is actually eliminating animal products, because you're eliminating extra animal hormones and all this other stuff. And since it's an endocrine disorder, endocrine meaning hormonal disorder, being vegan and eliminating other animal products in your body will eliminate animal hormones from entering your body, which might help your thyroid regulate or at least get back on track. I'm not entirely sure what exactly the contents of that video was that inspired me to go vegan, and I'm not properly reiterating everything that lady said about veganism and hypothyroidism, but it was enough to convince me to at least try veganism. So yeah, I went vegan for a whole year. My freshman year of college. My only rule for myself was that I just had to stay vegan. I didn't have any limits about when I could eat, how much I could eat, how much to exercise. My only rule and regulation for myself was veganism. That was it. I could still eat as much as I wanted, and I did. I still binged up until this point. Like, I was still binge eating. I would eat whole boxes of pasta at once. Just like pasta, olive oil, avocado, and it was massive portions of food. I was okay with it because at this point it was just like, I'm just gonna take my battles one at a time, and the first one is gonna be to see how veganism treats me without changing anything else in my life. you know, I don't want to restrict myself and then crap out on the whole diet and give up, you know, so I let myself eat as much as I wanted, whenever I wanted, as long as it was vegan. And surprisingly, I didn't lose any weight, but for once, I didn't gain any weight. I don't exactly remember my motivation for changing up my diet in the sophomore year. Maybe it was just because I wanted to eat sushi. But in the beginning of my sophomore year of college, I was more comfortable with myself and the way I was eating and stuff like that. So I allowed myself to incorporate fish into my diet. At that point, I was pescatarian. Still no dairy, still no eggs, still no meat. I was still vegan, and I just allowed myself to have sushi every once in a while. I think it's probably because of my love for sushi that I decided to be pescatarian. And you know, at this point, sophomore year, it was getting easier for me. Like, I remember gaining self-confidence for once, even though I was still battling with binging. Because I was out of my household at home, I didn't feel the need to sneak food behind anyone's back. I was just open to eat whenever I felt like eating. Point is, I eliminated my relationship sneaking food at this point, and that made me feel a lot better. And at this point, I had also stopped gaining weight because of my veganism and pescatarianism. At the end of sophomore year of college, I went to Korea. As you guys know, it's very well documented on my YouTube channel. I interviewed K-idols. I went to Yonsei and I studied Korean. I got pretty good at Korean. But being in that country was really like the thing that was the turning point for me in my whole weight loss. I was never scrutinized in Korea. Like, I got along with everyone that I met there in my class, and when I went clubbing, like, people thought I was attractive, and like, it was never like I felt self-conscious in Korea. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, you know, I always felt good in Korea, even though like I was still trying to actively be healthier and control my eating and not binge as much, you know what I mean? Just like I said earlier, I wasn't really restricting myself. I would still eat what I wanted, and I'll go out with my friends, and I would drink when I went clubbing and like stuff like that. So I was living a really fun life, but like the whole lifestyle in Korea, seeing the beautiful people that live in Korea and like all of the things that they put themselves through, like K-idols and all that stuff, that's when everything got so real to me. Like, K-pop idols, that is the place that they reside and they perform and they are produced and all this stuff. And for some reason, like, my fantasy got so real when I lived in Korea, and that like kind of like inspired me even further to be better and to improve myself. And so when I got back from Korea, I think I had shed like 20 pounds by accident. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't trying to go on diets. I wasn't trying to look like a K-pop idol. Like, I wasn't trying to do any of that, but living their lifestyle, taking the subway everywhere, walking all over the place. Like, it was such a good experience for me. And I came back glowing, as my mother said. And that was when I was like really feeling myself for once. I was like, damn, like, this is my life, you know, and this is me, and this is great. But at this point, I was still unhappy, because even though I had lost a good amount of weight at that point, I was still kind of like, oh, I'm not really where I want to be yet. Junior year of college happened, and that was when I was getting even more comfortable in the dating scene back here in America. And I really I just started feeling the full weight of how sucky it is to date men. And just like, it was some of these guys that I talked to, like, I was actually really into, and I liked them a lot. And so I took these blows really hard whenever I was rejected by someone, because my immediate scapegoat would be to blame my body and my weight, and I'm not good enough yet, and I've been doing good, but I could be doing better. Like, you know, those are all things that unfortunately is my own character flaw. Like, I'm very, very hard on myself, and a lot of it is probably not true at all, you know? But that's what I use as my motivation to keep going more. Anyways, that's really messed up. You should never feel the need to lose weight to impress other people. And at the same time, I have to mention, my experience in Korea really helped me get a firm grasp and control on my eating habits. So at this point, I don't really say, when I was entering my junior year of college, I don't really say that I had as bad of a binge eating disorder anymore. At this point, I was figuring myself out, and I knew the kinds of foods that I could eat and feel good, or the kinds of foods that I would eat and then they would make me bloated, or they would make me react badly. You know, all of these other kinds of things. I was really just figuring out my body at this point, and Korea really contributed to that. And then junior year, among all of my crappy dating experiences, yes, I was able to really get a handle on my eating disorder. By the time that I got my first boyfriend, I could finally admit that I did not have binge eating disorder anymore. And at this point, I was pretty comfortable with the way I was eating and my lifestyle at that point. At this time, I had probably lost majority of the weight, probably 50 of the 60 pounds that I'm at now. And my senior year of college, I pretty much looked like this, how I look right now. I am very, very proud of myself, and I'm very thankful for every experience that have led me to the place that I'm at right now. It's unfortunate that certain things have manifested in my life, like this eating disorder and, you know, self-confidence issues and not very good relationships with the people in my family. But, you know, at the end of the day, I don't blame anybody. I'm very thankful for the lessons that I've learned. Nowadays, in order to kind of maintain my weight, I can kind of elaborate a little bit. I try to do the best I can to intermittent fast, kind of like, and intermittent fasting is like when you don't restrict how much you eat, but more the times that you eat. So I try not to eat too closely to when I go to bed or wake up, because I notice like during those times, like right before bed or right when I wake up, like I'm very sensitive to food. It can kind of throw me off for the whole day or whatever. That's just more like my general mood and lethargy and stuff like that. It doesn't have to do with like, oh, I gained some weight. Like I literally never step on the scale now. Like for the past probably 6 months, I have not stepped on the scale because I just don't freaking care. You know, the numbers don't matter. But intermittent fasting is something that I try to do loosely, you know, just not eating too close to night, too early in the morning. And, you know, just try not to eat so much junk food. Like, I remember growing up, I had a sick obsession with watermelon Sour Patch Kids. Some of you guys probably remember that. You sent it to my P.O. box because I said I like that candy. You guys fed me so much candy, which was great. I highly appreciate that. Oh, and I have to say right now, another key thing is that I have started eating chicken and eggs and dairy, but for just residual kind of nostalgia. I don't know why I haven't gotten myself to this point, but I don't eat mammals. I haven't really figured out if it's mainly due to like ethical reasons, or I don't know, just something makes me uncomfortable about eating pork and cow and lamb and other mammals. But yeah, so I started eating chicken about 1.5 years ago. That's because I really wanted to eat fried chicken for some reason. I feel like every time I unlock another food, it's just out of a craving. But yeah, so I'm at this point where I don't eat any mammals, and I just kind of lightly intermittent fast here and there. I probably should work out more, but I'm at this point where I love myself, I love my body, finally. And I think that also just has to do with me getting comfortable with myself, getting used to myself, and getting to know myself mainly as I grow up. So I'm at this point where I'm finally not in the clutches of an eating disorder, or always consumed about counting calories and weighing myself, and I'm so thankful for that. My camera is about to die. Thank you guys so much for listening to my story and finally understanding like this big piece of me that I don't really like to elaborate on too much. Of course, I'm more than happy to share with you guys. You can let me know in the comments down below your journey as well, if you guys have been through similar things as well. Please check out my ASMR channel down below if you want to support me, or if you like ASMR. Thank you so much, Ana Luisa, for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check out their holiday sale. My necklace is all raveled around each other. The link to their website with their holiday sale, the link to their website will be in the description box down below, so don't be afraid to check it out. Check out their holiday sale, and if you get a thing or two, please let me know. It would be a perfect gift for someone else, or even yourself during this holiday season. Don't be afraid to treat yourself. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and I will see you beautiful internet people next time. 안녕히 계세요.